Hey guys, how's everyone doing? Just tuning in here. I know the last couple weeks we've been doing some different things during this community chat, and today is going to be no different. We have quite a few announcements. We're wrapping up the quarter here today, so that's super exciting, and we're trying to tick the box on one of our objectives. So we're going to be doing a live demo of our bridge on mainnet today. So that's super exciting for us. We're also going to be talking a little bit about some of our partnerships, some of the upcoming things that we're working on, and et cetera. So looking forward to it. Just to kind of kick off here, guys, for those of you that have not that are not aware, we did have an ontology grant proposal, a Jupyter proposal, get submitted to the ontology EVM team. And it looks like that is going through. So we're super excited to see their support coming in. There's going to be some additional liquidity provided by the team, which is going to be great to the usability of U-Trade. On top of that, there's going to be some nice LP bonuses that are coming in, some increased staking spots that we're going to be adding to our node. And we're going to be tying this all in with operating the bridge on ontology and making sure that we can provide UNIFI liquidity there as well. So that's super exciting for us. So I'm going to go ahead and dive right into it because we're going to be watching live transactions, so I can talk over those as they're running. And without further ado, let me drop us in to the demo. Okay, so for those of you that are not aware, we have been operating a bridge to some extent since 2019. A lot of different versions of that. We're doing token swaps and etc. This is a bridge that is open to swap the native tokens unified between all the blockchains that we're on. So we can go ahead and just dive right in. This is pretty close to the final version that everyone is going to get to see when this comes out live, and I'm going to be showing you through the transactions as we go through them. So I'm just logged in here on MetaMask Vanilla. I've got some UNFI on Binance Smart Chain, and I am going to go ahead and bridge some of that over here to Phantom using this. So I'm going to go ahead and bridge like 0.5 UNFI here. You can see my destination. It's exactly the same one that I am logged into here on Binance Smart Chain. We can see a max swap size. I'll talk about that in a second, and swap fee, estimated time, etc. So I'll get into all of those as we go. Some terms and conditions here. I have already approved the smart contract for use. So that's an extra step that everybody is going to have to do, but I don't because we're doing this live. So we're going to go ahead and perform a swap. I'm getting a pop-up right now on MetaMask to sign this transaction here, and I'm going to do that right now and confirm. Cool. So I've confirmed the transaction. So it's just waiting for the transaction to broadcast here on Binance Smart Chain, and it'll let me know once that's come through. Okay, cool. So that's been approved. So if I can go here into my transactions, you're going to see it popping up here in just a second. As it comes through on the approval side, and as that goes through, we're going to be able to like capture the transaction coming through here on this, coming into 1 second, make sure it's still not pending on Binance Smart Chain. Cool, right here. Okay, cool. So we can see the transaction has come in here. It's going. I think I just need to read. Oh no, there we go. It's pending now. Cool. Sorry, guys. This is live. So yeah, so the transaction is pending here. We can see the deposit, exactly the same one that I pulled up before. The UNFI has gone in to the smart contract, and now what's going to happen is on the back end, it's going to monitor these transactions that the smart contract on the destination side can pick it up and send it to my same address. So while that's running, it's going to take a minute or two. We can go ahead and talk about kind of how this is working. So for those of you that aren't aware how we're currently bridging tokens on Ethereum to Binance Smart Chain, we've been doing this since the beginning, since day one. And you can see that using this really large address here. This is essentially a lock address for UNIFI tokens that exist on another blockchain. So here we have this 1.2 million unified tokens here. There's not a lot of transactions because these are large bridge transactions. And if we go into, if we compare that to the total supply on UNIFI on Binance Smart Chain, you can see that it matches. That's how this is kind of maintained. So when this number is less than the number on Ethereum, UNIFI should be minted. For us to unlock those tokens on Ethereum, these tokens would be burned on Binance Smart Chain. And if you take scroll a little bit further down, you can see a bunch of these new addresses that just popped up here, 20,000, 10,000. These are the initial liquidities that we've provided to the bridge. So when you come back into the bridge itself and you take a look at the liquidity, you can see they pretty much match here exactly the UNIFI amounts. Obviously, Phantom, I've been testing this since before this chat here. And so it's a little bit less because we've been using up some of that, and these will grow as we continue. But that's essentially how that works. So as you go ahead and look into Phantom here, the 10,000 UNIFI that I had mentioned previously on Ethereum is located here. So you can see the 5 addresses that this is being transferred into, some of the transfers that are ongoing. You can see me going in and doing some of these for the last few minutes here before this chat. And that's basically it. That's basically how it all works. So with that being said, I suppose I can talk a little bit more here about, as this is going through, I can talk a little bit more about some of how this bridge is working. So basically, unlike most bridges that exist out there today, this does not wrap UNIFI. This is native UNIFI existing on each chain. So what that means is we can actually bridge from one destination blockchain to another. So instead of us going from BSC to Phantom and then trying to go to, let's say, Ontology, you can actually go directly from Phantom to Ontology instead of going backwards to BSC. So that's kind of the unique thing about it. That's what's interesting about this solution is it can be a lot more efficient. You don't have to specifically push transaction back down the chain to get around. You don't have to worry about the token supply being maintained, and etc. So we could talk a little bit about some of the advantages here as well. First off, from an arbitrage perspective, as we start to load up liquidity here, this is going to be a pretty cool move for people to kind of look at. We now have this token distributed on each of these blockchains. They can all be bridged back to Ethereum. They can all be bridged back to Binance Smart Chain. And as a result, you can go ahead and deposit them into Binance if you have access to that, Coinbase if you have access to that. And so it gives people a lot more usability as they interact with the token. I think for some right now, it's pretty challenging if you're purchasing the token on, say, Coinbase to bridge those into Binance Smart Chain. So that's a cool piece of it as well. So getting into security. So this has been a big question for us that's come up a lot. Like I said, this is something that we've had a lot of experience with. We've been operating this bridge technology since 2019. This is the latest version of it. And so I think that we've got to look at a lot of the hacks that are going on now. You take a look at Axie Infinity and things like that. We are not producing wrap tokens. And I was just talking to my team about this today. To some extent, what's happening is when you participate as an individual in DeFi or a bridge, you're providing some tokens in, some liquidity in, and you're getting some kind of proxy out. That is the bridged token. Now, although for the most part those bridged tokens are very secure, wrapped ETH is like as secure as you can get. You do have some exposure. You're exposed to a smart contract. You're exposed to some derivative. You're exposed to that bridge. So if something goes wrong, you're taking on some additional risk. That same level of risk isn't being taken on here because you are receiving that native token. You can bridge from any blockchain directly to Ethereum, from any blockchain that we're on directly to Binance Smart Chain, and then you're in the native token. You don't have to worry about, oh, this liquidity here or this bridge section isn't up and I'm seeing some issues. So before I continue with that, the transaction has gone through a couple minutes ago here. You can see that the tokens were issued to me. This is my address here. And we can see the deposit coming in here to UNIFI, or I'm sorry, 0.05 UNIFI in. And if I go back, I can also see the deposit that I sent out matching that. So yeah, pretty simple. That's how it's meant to work. The bridge that we have is definitely something that will continue to evolve. Working with UNIFI specifically on the chains that we're on is a pretty huge opportunity. And I think it's a very cool demonstration of how a very simple concept of wrapped tokens can be advanced a lot. And from here, we can give people new access to the tokens, new blockchain access, build some very cool things on these new chains and continue to expand. So I can talk a little bit here about the future as well. So we are going to be launching on most of our EVM chains at launch. I believe Tron and BTT may have a slight delay, but beyond that, all of the other blockchains that you see here should be available. So that's pretty great at launch. And from there, we can continue to build. So looking for partners, continuing to work with partners so we can encourage them to bridge native tokens, native versions of their tokens as well. Working within our own ecosystem to talk about native token bridging of things like UP, which would be super interesting because then you've got a token instead of a wrapped version of, say, Avalanche on Phantom. You could have this UP token or UP Phantom or UP Avalanche on Phantom, and that gives you a whole new type of access to a token that is redeemable on another blockchain that can use this bridge. The same liquidity factors apply, the same ability to kind of move back and forth. And so there's some very cool development there. Future interaction with the DAO. We have our own internal multi-sig that's online. So we're super excited to kind of demo this, which is like the tip of the spear of a lot of technology that comes underneath it. So with that being said, guys, thank you all for taking a look here at our bridge. I'm really excited to kind of demo that or to see people using this more in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and drop out. If anybody drop out of this, if anybody has any questions, feel free to post them. And I'm going to dive into some of the other things that are coming here on the horizon. So the bridge was always a part of our Q1 objectives. We really wanted to get that done and live here by the end of Q1, which we're getting to right now. So that's very exciting. There were some additional objectives. I think you guys heard me talking about working with B2B partners, with larger blockchain partners and things like that. So all of that is coming through as well. But one of the big things that we're very excited about here is we're going to be kicking off kind of a big rebrand here for the organization. Not so much in name, but more so in design. So the focus there is to basically take a lot of the development, the technical work, the business development work, the documentation work that we've been doing, the stuff that happens behind the scenes that a lot of you are not exposed to, and making that a lot more public facing with a new brand identity, I should say. So that's going to be coming out here in the near future. That's an objective here coming up into the new quarter, along with some other things that I think are going to come out. You've been seeing some of that in some hints of that in our Twitter as we've been building up to that as well. So without further ado, guys, I think that kind of wraps us up here on the whole demo and what's going on. Next week is kicking off Q2. We did hit our objectives for Q1. I'm super excited here about what's coming in for Q2 and what's in store for the rest of the year. So that's going to be a big thing that I'm anticipating some interesting announcements on. And without further ado, guys, I'm going to wrap us up there. So thank you all so much. I look forward to you guys enjoying some of these new developments, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.